Please note, the following episode was filmed days before the Supreme Court ruling was announced. Welcome to Proudly Said, where we bring bold voices and real stories together. I'm John Hyland, Scouse, queer, and still trying to make sense of it all. And this space is for the stuff we don't always say out loud, though we probably should. Let's get into it. So I was hoping to start this podcast making a lovely comment about the bougie place we were filming in. That didn't happen.
No, it didn't. So I've met John Hyland all of 3 times, maybe. Briefly, and now I'm in his home. Thank you for having me.
We've relocated to my house. We've got the Vivian joining us in the corner here. This wall will grow, hopefully.
It's lovely. It's a lovely home. I'm so happy I'm here.
You're just saying that. So, without further ado, I am joined by I don't think this person needs an introduction. No, not when you're in like the LGBTQ Liverpool community, definitely over the last 18 months, I would say.
Less.
Okay, less.
9? I don't know.
Now you just make yourself sound arrogant, bitch.
I'm not. I'm just, Gail, I was teaching 18 months ago, misery.
Is that really okay?
Yeah, I was teaching this time last year.
Gail, shut up. I haven't introduced you yet.
I know. Yeah, sorry. And ADHD interjections galore, by the way. That's like what that should be. That would be my drag name, Interjector Galore or something like that.
I like that. Yeah. Anyway, this is Connie Frankish.
Hi. It's not legally Connie Frankish, by the way.
Is it not? Not yet.
No. So what happened with that was I'm getting married later this year, and like
you could do it all at once.
Yeah. Well, I was publishing my first journalistic article, like 7 years after, or 6 years after I qualified as a journalist. By the way, she was late to the game. She was focusing on sobriety, and they were like, "What's your name?" And I was like, "Well, I'm changing it next year, so it kind of seems a bit short-sighted to not just go with my married name, even though I'm not married yet." So it's Connie Frankish, yeah.
Okay, so I was thinking this. We're going into a bit of a personal thing here, by the way. So
yeah,
obviously both you and your partner. I did think this of Frankish on Instagram, and I was like, I'm sure she's getting married. It's like, what's the crack?
Yeah.
That's why you just gone by it
because I was posting my first article and it just made no sense to then change. Do you know, like, so when you work in a school, if you change your surname in a school, the kids are always going to call you the surname
that they know.
Yeah, exactly. So I didn't want that effect. Do you know?
Yeah, I get that. Because again, funnily, just before we started filming this, we were talking about TV and because of an experience you recently had, but we won't go into that. Just look at her Instagram. No, you took it down, didn't you?
Yeah.
Oh, never mind.
By the way, I was not asked to take that down. I wanted to take that down because I was like, I don't want to be known as the trans that was like publicly beefing with like a soap opera.
And did it in the moment, the heat of the moment.
Yeah, I script everything that I put out like meticulous, like for the most part. I'll do a little improv, but that was the only thing I've ever put out where I just ranted it, and
you're still very articulate, I must give you that.
Oh, thanks, Diva.
But on that point, it's so it's the same thing with TV. Like I know a few people who've got married and kept their what name they've had because they've got IMDb pages.
Yeah, there we go. And I've never my mum remarried. I don't see the side of the family that my birth name was. So I've always felt like odd one out. It's nice to have someone's surname. Started crying. Yeah, no, it is to
I
be
feel
like
part of something.
Literally that, like I'm like my people, and it's Germanic, so she's given continental because I was like very Gaelic diva. Still am, obviously, so just not a name.
I recently did my ancestry thinking that I had a bit of European in me. No, complete Celt.
Yeah, my cousin did not mine. Well, did theirs, and it's mostly mine. And it was the side that I didn't know about, and it was Irish on that side too. So I was like, oh, gag, she's like 99% like Irish.
I don't think that's a bad thing.
It's not. It's just not particularly excited in Liverpool. So now I'm like,
very good point.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm becoming one of those like cringe, like British people that's like, yeah, my partner's like quarter German, Romanian, French, Scottish, but he's actually just English.
Okay, I'm a Celt.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's nothing in me. Anyway, this is my podcast, bitch.
I gasped. I sorry.
Why I wanted you on not the fact that you reached out to the Instagram page, not realizing it was me, and gagged when you realized it was.
Someone thought this was me. I was like, I wish it was me. It's not. I'm sorry. Like 3 people asked me, so I was like, I'm gonna ask, who is this? It's Gossip Girl. Like I thought it was Gossip Girl of Liverpool. Like,
and then I messaged you off my personal account.
I was like, Diva, my name is in like the thing, and I was like, oh, how perceptive. I know how unperceptive I am.
Oh, my John Bear Media thing.
Yeah. So it was like, it wasn't a secret. Like I was like, oh my God, who is this? And literally said the name on it.
So, but you mentioned, okay, so you touched upon it in my little where you've been and all this. You were literally a teacher 18 months ago.
Less than 12.
Okay, this timeline is changing every time you open
Sorry,
your
no, this time last year. So I left at Easter. So 18 months ago I was a teacher. Yes. That makes sense.
So I think that's one of the things like we want to highlight here is like a lot of people wonder with the current climate we find ourselves in. What's it like being a teacher as an openly trans person? Leave it at that.
My therapist says, and I love it, it's like if you don't know what to say, it means there's a lot to say. I'm like, interesting. I don't know. Like I'm not like, I'm glad that I've had that experience. I'm even glad that it's behind me because like the reality is, why did I go into teaching? I can say now,
to give back to the kids.
For the girls, the gays, and the theys. Like that was it. Like people be like, oh, and like, what do you think about like supporting all peoples? And I'd be like, well, I've always got my eye out for the baby gays, the baby trans, and like, what about everyone? I'd be like, what about them?
They've got plenty of support networks.
This is my answer. People did not like that, by the way. People that does not go down well in a school. They're like, you should care about everyone, and I'm like,
I do, but some people just need a little bit extra blankets.
I was literally like, I'm not even joking. Like, someone would be like, you don't give that kid homework. And I'm like, he's gay. I'm not giving him homework.
And he's got enough to deal with.
Yeah, I'm like, he doesn't do his homework. You need to give that kid attention. I'm like, he's gay. I'm not going to do that. Like, that's my people. I'm loyal, like, to a fault.
And that's why you couldn't stay as a teacher.
That and a million reasons. There was a list. No. So I went into teaching in 2020. I was actually looking at moving to Brighton because I'm from Liverpool. I went to uni in Leeds, lived there for 4 years. I finished my master's in December 2019. ... We all know what happened 3 months later. And my best friend was a teacher, and my mum was like, oh, you should go into teaching because it's like a practical, high qualification. Yeah. Like it's comfortable, it's stable. Like you should have that under your belt. And then end up doing it for like the training year, thinking I was gonna like leave after the training.
PGCE, is that what it is?
She was a PGDE, a diploma versus a certificate. I still can't really explain what the difference is, but there is one.
I didn't even know there was a diploma.
I was not paying attention the whole time. In my head, I was just thinking like trans rights or human rights. Like,
you knew where you wanted to go.
Yeah. Absolutely. By the way, no one has ever guessed correctly what my subject was, unless that you've heard me tell it out or you've seen it somewhere.
No, I wouldn't have. I mean, how do you make an assumption based on how someone looks? But I would never have put you as that.
You can spot like an English or a PE teacher a mile away. I always get
definitely PE, obviously. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're usually wearing shorts.
Yeah. I wouldn't even go into PE teachers. There's not enough time. But
I can see art though. I can totally see art.
Everyone guessed art. Everyone guesses drama. And you know what's so funny? I'm so dry. I'm so like monotone, or not monotone, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Like that. I can't even hold a pen properly. Like I've literally I can't hold a pen. Like my handwriting is legible. I was a geography teacher. Clock that. Like yeah.
And not even like normal geography.
No,
we think geography. We think rock formations and
physical geography,
like
geology.
Yeah, that's what I think of geography. And capital cities.
Human geography,
which is
population, migration, public health, policies, town planning. Okay, I feel like queers love like town planning though.
I think it comes. Like, you know what I think it comes down to? I think it's this element of there's a lot of neurodiversity in our community, and we just like planning.
Yeah. And like we have so little control in our lives, we just crave organization of spaces.
You know, the irony though is I'm the absolute complete opposite of that though, because I'm a creative. Yeah. I don't like planning. I just do.
Okay. Oh, she's spontaneous. Spontaneous.
Yeah, to a point. Yeah, to a point.
But I am versatile. I also taught maths and English as well. So, but geography was my main. Yeah.
So I suppose that what I'm kind of getting at is how was it in the classroom with kids? Like, was it like forgive me if my phrasing is incorrect. Pull me if I say something wrong.
No.
Was it like a known thing? Were you an out trans person as a teacher?
Yeah, absolutely. I would like earlier when I started, like this was like 5 years ago that I started teaching. I worked in like 3 schools. I was like definitely at the start of my career, like was more visibly trans. I still like think I am someone who is visibly trans. I'm not someone who like I am not trying to not give trans. I'm happy to give trans. I just want to look fab. Like of course, like I am quite binary in my presentation. Like I do enjoy like dressing and presenting in a very feminine way, but I'm also not like hyper. And this is something which I've worked a lot on, by the way. I wasn't always like this. You know, I've been living trans for like nearly 8 years, and definitely when I was younger, very oppressed mindset where I was like I don't want anyone to know they're trans, and actually it's quite liberating to be like, I am trans, diva, clock the Adam's apple. I don't care. Like I just want to be fab. So
and I saw you walking down the Lark Lane before, stomping that runway, bitch.
Stomping? No. No, never. And oh god, the corridors. I was stomping down the corridors in like the that's when I like get full sass to be walking down the corridor, like holding like the kids mark and like
like
RuPaul,
sexy teacher secretary type thing.
Yeah, like no sissy that walk. Like
I love it.
So what was the question?
The question about like obviously being an openly trans teacher
so
with the kids in the classroom.
Earlier in my career, like at the start, I was more visibly trans. I still feel like I'm visibly trans now, and that's great. I love being trans. It's slay, and that is just like an understatement. And also when it was appropriate, by the way, because some people are like, oh, why wasn't you always like trans? Because I was teaching geography. Because we're in the geography curriculum, like on this meander, it reminded me of like the trans rights movement. Do you know, like it just wasn't occurring.
But it just made me laugh just on that mini point is whenever someone comes to me as like, you know, as an LGBT activist and the forgive me, the trans question comes up. It's like a majority of trans people just want to live the most boring, mundane lives as they can and be able to just go for a piss in public. Not literally, not in public.
Not in public.
In a public toilet. and that's it. That's all people want to do. So to your point, And
by the way, I also would like then deliberately never. That
so
is slander. That is a false allegation. No, I'm
sorry, Connie.
Don't worry. When it was appropriate, like PHSCA, if it came
if it was relevant,
I did assemblies. Like I always say, I couldn't go to the toilet at break time without a lesbian coming out to me, or like going for a little vape. I don't vape anymore, but going for a little vape,
like a student.
Yeah, oh my god, little student, like 14-year-old lesbian to be like, Miss, I need to tell you something. I'm a lesbian, and I'm like, that is amazing. I see you. I like hold space for you. I've got like horrible year 9s next lesson. I need to go vape. Very that like because I was visibly queer and because I was kind of like, I feel like there's a big don't ask, don't tell mentality in schools. Like the majority of schools that I worked in, nearly all the LGBT staff were not openly LGBT. I even had like people say things to me like, oh, you know, I don't disclose. And I always think that's a privilege because like I never, not very often do I explicitly say I'm a trans person. People knew from word of mouth, from looking at me, or from me saying, if, you know, that happened, because it did happen. There's like this mindset of like, oh, you shouldn't be telling kids that you're trans or that you're whatever. Like,
why? Kids
ask all the questions. Because like, do you have a dog? Like, are both your parents alive? Like, they're so intrusive with the questions that they ask. Like, kids ask wild things.
Like no filter, to the sense where I've got an idea, I'm just going to ask the question.
Yeah, like kids were like, one kid was like, are you from Poland? I'd be like, no. Like,
what kid's Polish?
So, but I don't know. But I've actually been asked that before. I'm like, it's like such an honor. I'm like, oh, she's like exotic. Like,
well, yeah, like no issue whatsoever. But what
no,
is Polish?
I take it as a compliment. But this is like a testament to like the kids will ask anything and everything, and anyone that's worked in a school knows that that's what it's like. So they do ask these things. So it does come up, but people think like it's don't ask, don't tell. You shouldn't talk about that. Why not? Why would we erase like our identities in schools? Now, to my point, I would have like colleagues be like, I don't disclose that I'm trans, that I'm LGBT not trans, plus, I'm LGBTQ plus, or they'd be like, I'm in the community too, at me, and I'm like, that is not helpful.
No.
When I'm like the lone visibly queer member of staff that's getting the brunt of like the queer phobia, your little wink, nudge, or little like in the coffee room, like in the teacher's room, like being like, oh, I watch Drag Race. I'm like, that is not helpful. Like, do you know? So it's a tough one because I'm always like, I feel like as LGBT people, I went into it, and that wasn't a joke, by the way. I went into it to be the change I wanted to see in the world, to be a visual representation for LGBT young people. Like, that I didn't have growing up. Did you have that growing up? Did you see anyone? Like, my LGBT representation was like Pete Burns on Big Brother, and like the Viv at like G-Bar. Like, that was like the people that I was seeing. Both fabulous, gorgeous people. Couldn't see any better people. But we want to see the boring, like, queer people too. Like, that have like guinea pigs.
Yeah,
and,
the
like,
TV storylines where it's like that they just happen to be gay, as opposed to that is the storyline.
Yeah, exactly.
To that point, so I've got to play devil's advocate here.
Yeah.
So the people who were doing the cheeky winks and saying like I'm part of the community too, were they not necessarily openly out in the school, but were they like openly out, or were they not out at all and were just giving you a little heads up? Because I think I've got to throw that defense there, where there's some people who might not be out and aren't ready to come out, and but it's not for us to like police that.
No, they were living with partners. They were like married, same-sex relationships, whatever. So, like, they were deliberately concealing their lives. Right, and they were like it was a very conscious decision. And also, I'm not policing it, because I also see the side of it that they do feel like if you are LGBT, you're not gonna get a promotion. You're not gonna be able to hold power in a school. So I see that and I hold space for that. But I don't know. I didn't have that choice. Two, I do believe in my heart of hearts, like, I would still, if I was like someone that no one could ever tell they were trans, was not visibly queer, I would still disclose that. I think it's just I don't know, like.
And I think that makes sense as to how you've ended up doing what you're doing now.
Yeah, very, very that, like, people,
that activist sense of like wanting to, as you said, I think that you've put it perfectly actually, wanting to be being the change you want to see in the world.
I had like our posters that said that in my room, and I would point in my classroom, and I would point to that and be like, be the change you wish to see in the world, children. I love that saying. I don't know who said it, but like I love it.
I'll Google it.
Yeah, I tried Googling it. I don't know if it comes from anywhere, but yeah, I think that like I'm much more suited to activism. I kind of like fell into teaching because of COVID, and then like
timing wise makes sense,
and then stayed in it because like once you're trained in something, once you've invested the hours into it, the blood, sweat and tears, like you kind of feel like, well,
I've got to do it now, may as well.
yeah, but over 50% of teachers drop out within the first 5 years. So I'm part of that statistic because I just missed out on 5 years, like 4 years.
So I've made the move to what was the light bulb moment of, okay, actually I need to make the move to do what I think I need to do?
So I was working in a school on the Wirral, and I found that I, growing up, I'm from Liverpool. I never really went to the Wirral. I didn't really have any friends from the Wirral. I didn't really know much about it. I was shocked by how much of a culture difference there was.
Yeah.
It was like coming from schools in Liverpool where there was like, there was instance like as a trans person, as a visibly trans person, like probably once a half term, which is every 6 months. Like, sometimes it'd be like a couple within a half term. That'd be a particularly bad period. There was not a week working on the Wirral that I wasn't facing some sort of adversity, upset, conflict, like, and that, my God, this whole that took on me. I was having like chest pains, and I thought I had a chest infection. I went to the GP, and the GP was like, you have not got anything wrong with you. You are stressed. And at first I thought I was being gaslit, and I was like, not them saying that to a trans person. I'm joking, by the way. Joking. I'm not. I'm like the least like, I know that I do lots of videos talking about like all the issues that trans people face, but I'm like the least sensitive. Like, I'm like, I don't care about much. Like, it takes a lot to upset me, trust me. But I was like, oh my God, like I literally thought I had a chest infection, and it was stress. I was like,
anxiety kind of
I was doing the Hoover and I had to sit down because I couldn't breathe. Like, wow, yeah, like that level of stress, which I'd never known in my life, because I just had no peace. I was going in every day, and there was like something in every day. There was one day where there was like 4 incidents in a day, and that was like one of like the closest to like feeling like I feel broken as a person, like in one day. So these, like, I'm gonna try and remember them. This like over a year ago. One, a kid said in front of the class that I couldn't have kids because I used to be a man. I had a parent call me, say, I don't care if you identify as a woman or a cat. I think I've made videos about both those things already. Then I was going into the bathroom, and there was like 2 students that shouted like, get out the women's bathroom at me. And then there was something else that happened that day. I remember there was 4 things.
All in one day.
That was all in one day. Like,
jeez, Connie.
I know. So the stress, I was a shell of myself. Like,
and as we can see, like, for you to be a shell took a lot.
Yeah. And then And then the other thing was a job opportunity came up, which I really wanted. Actually, before I went into teaching, the job that I have now, I applied for it, didn't even get an interview. I was like, why not? And they were like, you have no experience working with young people. I was like,
but I want to.
I was like, well, I'm like pretty fab. Like, they were like, that don't impress us much. So that job actually came up again. And I was like, this is like the universe, because like I've got this experience now. I applied for it and got it, and that was a year ago. And I'd say I never look back. Like, I haven't. Don't regret leaving. Loved leaving teaching. I don't think I was someone who was suited to teaching as well. And I think that's something which I want to find a way to acknowledge more, because I feel like I talk about all the bad things that happened in teaching. As much as that is true, and that is the reason why like I left, I also was not suited to teaching. I'm a natural rule breaker. So like you couldn't have me like doing anything for, like cracking down on them kids. My form, the girls had lip gloss, the girls had earrings. Like I would, the kids, the lads had trainees on. I would literally say to the kids, it's so funny because I can say these things now. I would say, just don't let me see it, and then I don't care. So that when I get pulled, why is half your form got lippy on? I say, huh? Duh?
Which they put it on after.
Yeah, that happens all the time. They'd be like, we know it's your form because like the girls have all got like a gloss, a mascara, and a hoop, and I'm like, as they should. Like, yeah, that is my form, correct?
So you're enforcing expression, individualism.
Yeah, and I'm just not. I'm just not that type of diva. I'm a free spirit. I'm like, I do what you want. I don't care. As long as we're having a good time, we're all learning and respectful. Like very that. Which like you think you can go in and do that, you can't. Like my God, if you go into teaching thinking you're gonna be that, you're in for a shock. Like you either conform and like become the rule enforcer, or you leave. I left because I'm like not got it in me to. They give you little plastic bags, like go around, collect the earrings and confiscate them. I'd be like, no, like
I've got to give them back.
They'd be like, oh, you never have anything confiscated. Like, why is that? I'd be like, because my kids don't matter. my kids would never put me in that position. But actually, they'd be there like in chains and all sorts. And yeah, I don't know. I was just unfiltered as well. Not in a bad way. Just I was not like if the kids were like, I don't agree with that rule, I'd be like, me neither. Like
it's probably good thing that you got out of school.
Yeah, because I was just there like.
But I think it's interesting because like, when did you say that was? 12 months ago. It
was Easter last year. Yeah, because I remember saying to my mum at Easter lunch last year,
wow,
I've applied for a job that's not teaching. And she was like, and I'd literally just been given a permanent job at the school that I was in. There was a rumour, oh my God, I saw 2 kids like at the service that I work for that I got fired because like I like disappeared one day. They were like, there was a rumour that you got fired, that you was bullying kids. I was like, I got a better job, and I literally was like, by the way, I've not talked about this yet, but I was going to post a video about it. So by the time this comes out, the video will come out.
Yeah, it does be well.
So because I wanted to clarify this rumor, and then so I got this new job, and I was going to work.
I'm just going to walk off.
I know, yeah. Have you got more questions? Am I like, is this not okay?
We've got 10 minutes left of my half an hour podcast.
Should I just save this then?
You just shut up.
Should I just save this then?
Yeah, you save it for your content.
Yeah, okay.
You save it for your content. Because what I was going to go into before you went off on a tangent.
Yeah. Oh God, see, keep me in line.
I'm trying to, but I don't want to interrupt.
Try harder, Diva. Just pull rein,
I'm usually good at like shutting people up. I don't want to be impolite.
Oh God, be impolite because I'm accidentally impolite. Like,
okay, shut up.
No, not really. Yeah, so
let's do a pop on the head. You say
no, I'm joking.
12 months, right? Literally 12 months, which is bizarre because again, like I've been back in Liverpool for about 18 months at time of recording, maybe a little bit less. And I wouldn't. One, I wonder where the flip you've been over the last number of years, because it seems like you've appeared and it's like you've never not been there.
Yeah.
So to my point is, how the hell have you ended up doing all these different things you've been doing over the last 12 months? Because you've done so many projects.
I know. I don't know. I literally, like, it's like ADHD superpower. I don't know.
I mean, that wasn't blatantly obvious from the last 20 minutes.
Yeah, clock that. Like, I'm first to admit. No, I like, it's funny because someone said to me, I've been following you for years. And I said, that's funny because I've been on Instagram for 8 months. Like, I was not online.
It just feels that way though. And I think that's the point because you've done so much in such a short space of time, which is a compliment.
Yeah, everyone keeps saying this because like I was the friend that was off the grid. I was like, there's about 24 people that have my phone number. And besides that, like I'll bump into you in Liverpool one every 2 years and be like, oh my God, you've had a kid and got married. Great.
But to that point though, it's like, was you not exploding? Imploding?
No, I was very zen. I was getting I was very zen. I was getting sober. I was having guinea pigs. I was like meeting my man and being in my love bubble. Like I was very content. Yeah. I was reading lots of books. Like just
I'm a little bit jealous if I'm honest.
Yeah, it was cozy. It was demure. It was But what happened was I left teaching and didn't realise actually how much that had been weighing on me and stifling my sense of self, my confidence, my everything. So I kind of just had this like boom of like, well, one, leaving the toxic environment, and two, the environment that I went to has just really nurtured me. Like I'm really lucky because my current workplace, they like just like empower really empower me. They believe in me. Like they like just do everything to make me like a better employee, better person. And I'm kind of just like taking those two things and I'm just getting all this energy of like, do you know what? Be the change you wish to see in the world. Telling the kids that the whole time. I was not doing it. I like the irony.
Now you are doing it.
Exactly. So I'm like, I want to see other people doing this, so I'm going to do it. Like, do you know?
Which is usually the way things work. It's like you become that activist because you're like, fuck it, I've got a voice. I'm going to bloody use it.
I was like one of them that was like, I'd do a better job. And I finally was like, do you know what? Like, instead of being that like catty queen that's just sat there critiquing everyone else, go and do something then. And I tell you, you feel a lot better about yourself when you're actually just going out there and doing it. And I will say another thing is I met a really good friend who Thomas Hartley, Pam Sandwich, Pamela Denise, etc. Anyone who knows. And like that friendship has just changed my life as well, because
you're like a little power couple.
Yeah, absolutely. Like when I started doing these projects for the first 3 months, I was behind the scenes. I was writing all the questions. I was like, I was recruiting all the people. I was like, I have no great desire to be in front of the camera. And Tommy was like, kept saying to me, like, be behind the camera. That's great if that's what you want to do, but also you should be in front of the camera because you are super articulate and super like just the way that you explain things and the knowledge. Like she always told me, you have so much knowledge, like, and you have so much life experience, like you need to share that as well. And I was like, I don't know, I just don't see me being the one. And then one day she like made me, one of the events we did, she was like, right, this next one, I want you to co-host it with me. Like kind of just like pushed me to do it. And I was like, I'm gonna flop. Like I'm not, I don't know. I just never saw me doing that. Even though I did teaching, I do some like little speaking here and there, so I can speak to a room, but it's when I'm just like imparting knowledge. It was never about like
because you know what you're saying is correct because you've learned it.
And it just the first event that I like hosted with her was just, we both said like the energy was really great. I felt really excited and I was like, I want to do this more, and I did it a few more times and I'm still doing it here and there, but I'm just focusing more on making content for myself and like recording things and putting online because another thing, sorry, there's like about 10 million answers to this one
about
question.
3 episodes.
No, I feel like I'm nearly done, honestly. And then also in November last year, I went to a trans activism conference hosted by Transgender Europe and Asia, and it changed my life. It was...
Is that November?
Yeah.
That doesn't seem that long ago. I remember you posting about it.
It was, I know. It feels like a long time ago for me, but it's not. And it was 3 days of like 9 a.m. till like 7 p.m. like lectures, seminars, like workshops all around like trans rights, trans narratives.
They're some of the most inspiring things you can attend when you're surrounded by the same people.
Hearing Russian, Hungarian, like Mongolian activists, like that like makes you realize like, I always like to think I'm like self-aware enough, like as like I study geography. I'm very conscious of like the global.
You study geography?
Shut up. I'm conscious of like the global community.
Yes.
I don't just think locally, but it made me be like, oh my God, like it makes me like realize like it's like on us in like less dangerous settings.
Yes.
To be using that, because there's people that would like, you know, love to be like living in the UK, as much as we moan about it, because it is crap. But like, there's always people that have got it too much worse. Those experiences, meeting Tommy, leaving teaching, starting a new job, and going to TGEU biannual conference.
And just to point out again, like, this is all in the last 12 months.
Oh, all those things, like that was like May to November last year.
Jesus, web Connie.
I know.
So now you're calming down, focusing on your own content and that kind of job, and obviously the day job.
Yeah, because when I like, for the last like best part of a year, let's say, because that I feel like that works. For the best part of a year, I've had like 3 side hustles on the go. I've had a full-time job, and I'm like, do you know what? I just need like, I don't want to say activist burnout, but probably a little bit.
Oh no, it's real. It is real.
I think I kept like doing things without realizing I was making commitments. I think I was like, oh God, yeah, I'll do that. Yeah, I'll do that. Yeah, I'll do that. Kept saying yes to everything, and then like suddenly, when am I like, when am I seeing me mum? Like, when am I spending time with my fiance? Like, I've kind of stopped everything to kind of just pause, and then, when I get some energy back, and once I've like got this wedding planned, because it's in August and it's not planned.
That's gonna come like that.
I know, because it's already like we got engaged in October. Like, that's crazy.
That's quite a quick. I mean, I'm not gonna get onto your wedding, babe. Because...
No, don't. There's nothing to talk about. Like,
I'm getting married.
Yeah.
But we celebrate that though.
Yeah, absolutely. I used to think like as a trans woman, I'd never have a partner, let alone get married. So it's kind of crazy.
That's beautiful though.
Thank you.
I really want to talk about that now, but like, babe.
No, don't. Do a wedding special 6 months later, like I'll like Connie back. Katie Price. Yeah,
we'll bring Connie Frankish back as she's legally Connie Frankish.
Yeah, absolutely. Please do.
Just on that, what you're talking about, like, you know, you had social burn. I was like, I'm doing too much.
Yeah.
It's like, I was about to interject to say, yeah, because you can have like creative burnout. You can't think of any ideas. And I was like, no shit, because you want a flipping life.
Yeah, this is it. Like, I've been planning my wedding because I've been like so committed to so many different projects.
Yeah.
So there just comes to the point where it's like, actually, you need to
learn to say no.
Yeah, learn to say no. That is it. Because I just say yes.
Yeah, I'll do it. Yeah, I'll do it. And you realise, how many clashes have I got in my diary? Which one's the priority?
I feel like you're booked and busy though. I feel like you're a say yes diva as well.
I am a little bit, but I think that's like you, to be fair. You want to do stuff.
Yeah, I don't want to miss out on something. I'm like, well, what if that project's really fun? Like,
don't. And especially now, because I feel like Liverpool's an interesting one, because I think there's a lot of things going on in the city, and then the wider city region, I suppose, for the queer community. Like, there's loads of opportunity, I would say. And by that I mean like, there's people trying to open doors at this moment in time, and you want to be part of those door openings.
Feel like
does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. We've historically had a lot of brain drain.
Yes.
To Manchester, London, abroad even. And I feel like, you know, like the 2008 capital culture, that has had like a profound effect on the LGBT culture within the city on like a long-term basis. And I feel like, it sounds like stupid to say, but like, if you like observe it, like we are actually just starting to like reap the benefits of that as a queer community and as a city in general as well, and Eurovision. So absolutely, it's like an interesting time to be in Liverpool for sure.
Yeah, I agree with that, but I'm just really conscious now that I need to come to an end. So I do this like I want to do this like little scout spotlight where I throw the guests on the spot and be like, when you think of Liverpool, it can be queer Liverpool, it can be music, it can be locations. What makes you think like this is Liverpool?
Icons. I don't know, like the queer like people. I just think Liverpool is such like an interesting like case study of like regionalism intersected with like queerness, which produces some really interesting, amazing people. Tommy Hartley, The Viv, Danny Beard, Pete Burns, you know, like to name a few. I've always felt really fortunate that I've had those like dynamic people in our like local community.
Yeah.
I always say like, look at the power of like look at the talent within your local scene. The first drag queen I ever met was the Vivian, like when I was 16, like over 10 years ago. Do you know? That is crazy.
I love that though. So it's like, okay, there's the creative elements that's within our community. I love that.
Yeah.
But I'm going to stop this now before we go off on another tangent, Connie.
I know. You invited the doll, and the doll shows up, and the doll spoke.
The doll spoke.
Yeah.
So on that note, I think I'll get ready to book you in for another 2 episodes so we can continue this conversation. But thank you so much for joining. We've had a bit of an experience this afternoon, this evening.
Yeah.
An attempt to film somewhere else. You've seen my house as a shit tip.
Yeah, I feel honoured. I feel like I've recognised it from social media. I'm like, oh. I know that spot. Yeah.
I know that random quick.
Yeah.
But no, thank you very much. Where can people find you on socials if they want to find you on socials?
Currently just on Instagram at the minute, at Connie Frankish. I was on TikTok, but I've came off that.
Oh, have you?
I was on it for all the 3 months. I got on TikTok in December last year. That was the first time I've been on TikTok. I was off by March. I was just like, really? This is...
You just keep to the Instagram reels.
Yeah. I feel like the difference between Instagram and TikTok is there's nice comments on Instagram. There's still not nice comments, but there's at least nice ones. On TikTok, it was all... yeah.
Connie Frankish. If you've got any questions or anything like you want to get in touch with the podcast, it's hey@proudlysaid.co.uk, and we're at Proudly Said across... I was going to say all socials, but I'm purposely not on all socials.
Purposely? Ooh.
Oh, it's just Instagram and TikTok at the minute, once we've got the content going. But thank you again for joining me, and we'll catch you next time.
Bye.
You've been listening to Proudly Said. If it meant something to you, pass it on. If it didn't, maybe it will one day. Either way, stay kind, stay loud, and stay proud. Thanks for listening.